everyone, and welcome along to today's video where we'll be looking at this stuff here. Yes, my old favourite and everyone's Plumbers Mait. Now I've been asked what kind of uses and when should you use this stuff and when should you not be using this but something else. Now this stuff is purely really for sanitary type joints, waste pipe type joints, this type of thing. I'll give you a few examples, but before we get into that, I've just got to tell you that this stuff is permanently flexible. It's always waterproof. That's an absolute must. It's brilliant stuff, and it's long lasting, and it stays soft the whole time. Okay, it doesn't actually ever go hard, rock hard like some stuff. This stays permanently soft and flexible. It's lovely gooey stuff. If you have a look inside there, I'll spoon a little bit out of a screwdriver. It's been in this pot, it's nearly empty, just to show you how gooey and sort of yucky it is. Okay, just get my screwdriver. Here we go then. So let's get some of this gooey stuff out, shall we? Let's have a look at it. And as you can see, it's kind of like this. It's a bit hard. It's been in this tub quite a while, this bit of stuff, and usually with this you kind of roll it into sausage type shapes to wrap around waste and things. I'll show you the type of thing and application that I'm talking about. Right, so here we have a typical example of the use of Plumbers Mait. Okay, this is a basin waste. Okay, it slots inside the basin. It's shaped there to sit inside and slot down. Quite often you'll get a washer to go around there, and you always get one on the bottom, but those washers I've found quite often leak terribly, so I tend not to use that one there, but use a bit of Plumbers Mait. So this is where the stuff comes in handy. I've rolled a piece up here like a long sausage. Okay, here's our basin waste, and what I do is I stick it around that lip there. Okay, right the way around, shred it around and put it in position. Get it in nicely laid out. Let's get it softly down there. I'll push it in so you can see it's a bit not as square as I'd like, but what's going to happen is this is just going to squeeze out. I haven't got a basin I can fit it to, unfortunately, but I'm just giving you a rough idea, a general kind of idea of its uses. Also, what I do, there will be a washer on the bottom that goes up like this under the basin against the bottom of the basin. Before I put that up, I also put another wrap of Mait around the bottom of the basin, so that you push that up into the basin. There's a bit of Plumbers Mait here. Push it up all the way around. I can't show you because I haven't got a basin, I've got one to fit it to. And then I would put my washer on, and then, so we're assuming that's pushed in the basin. The Plumbers Mait is around the bottom of the basin, pushed in because there will be a gap, and then the washer would go on like that, followed by the nut. And when you do it all up, the Plumbers Mait will squeeze out. It will also squeeze out on the basin, just scoop it away, and the bottom. And I guarantee you, pretty much that will be a pucker seal. Really good, and that's one of the really good uses of Plumbers Mait on sanitary ware that I like. Another good use of Plumbers Mait is between the old cistern and the pan, the joint that's under there. You normally get a donut to go in there, but sometimes they don't quite hold and seal, and the Plumbers Mait does help kind of bed it down a bit, but it would definitely help make that seal if the donut doesn't quite do the job. Another use, as you can see here, is the back of the WC pan. This one's going into a macerator, but that often has a leak there sometimes. The back of the pans are sometimes not all that well made, and even with a good multi-wick connector or whatever, you can get a slight leak. Once again, use of Plumbers Mait, then that one there can often help relieve that. Now, do remember that Plumbers Mait is not to be used under pressure, okay? It can't just seal something without being locked in by something else. Okay, what I'm talking about here is inside of a joint already. Now, I've had quite a few of you write to me and say you tried a bit of Plumbers Mait around the leak and it didn't stop the leak. And that's because this kind of stuff is not meant to be put on the outside of a leak, all right, it won't hold, it will come straight off, especially if it's wet as well. It won't stick whatsoever. Whenever you use it, it must be on a completely dry surface, all right. Now, a lot of you have tried sticking it on things like an outside gutter, you know, that might have been leaking on a joint. On the outside of it, it won't hold. You tried it on downpipes where you've got a little weak. You tried it on the outside of every pipe going, and I can tell you that in the summertime this stuff will get really hot and just melt off like string if it's on the outside. So if you've got any sun on a joint, you put this stuff on, it will just fall away. It'll be absolutely useless. We're talking about sanitary ware mainly, and being used to help washers and other joints make that seal because of imperfections that might be there. So this kind of takes those up, and it's a bit like my old friend Boss Wire that a lot of people don't like. It does help make that joint, and this stuff more so, it's really good for that. So it has its uses, but don't be tempted to stick it on central heating pipe leaks and things like that. That some of you written to me and said, oh, I put some Plumbers Mait round a leak on a central heating pipe I had, but it didn't hold. Well, I'll be very surprised if it even stuck, because it doesn't like the wet. I say it must be applied dry. Anyway, but it would never do it in a million years. Okay, so that's it. The uses of Plumbers Mait and where you shouldn't use it, as I say, not on the outside of joints of any description, really. Okay, that's about it though. All my stuff, you know where to go, usual place, Derek and 33. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.